Hello, guys. This is Tyler here with Socrates Trading. I'm going to briefly discuss how you can find great stocks to buy almost every single day. There's such a quantity of information out there, and people often don't know where to begin with. And it often goes back to the same thing as don't overcomplicate it. So, like, here's one of the sites that I use often. It's called tradingview.com. Awesome website. And many of the features are actually free. You can create a free account. They also do have an upgraded account, which is great. Now, what I often do in the morning is we'll go to free market gainers, see what's trending. So we have this one, AMPA. Now, mind you, this is being filmed on Saturday, so this would have been on Friday of January 9th. But I'll just show you this stock, for example. ANPA, which I can go to my software broker or software, and here it is. So I will scroll back to the market open, and I only just go to like the 5 minute time frame here. So as we can see here, this one really just started picking up kind of later into the day. It was um basically it was about an hour or 2 hours into the market, and then it obviously just picked up and picked up. Um, but something that we can see here is that this is clearly a stock that in general they have a lot of volume because if you look, um, it had kind of um this jump up from around 5 in the morning, and it jumped from around $26 up to 40, and then it kind of consolidated, open, consolidated, and then obviously we started seeing that move upwards. Um, Another stock we'll just take. Let's look at go back here. GP. And mind you, this was pre-market here. So let's look at GP. Okay, so Green Power Energy, I believe it's an energy company. Um, Once again here, it was right around 7, it looks like, or even a little after it kind of started making this jump. It is, we can see on the bottom here, I mean, there was very little volume until around 7:15, and then the volume came in. Had this huge candle at 8 Central, or that would be 9 Eastern time, where it went from around 90 cents all the way up to $1.30. It consolidated and then continued up, and then once it opened, had a little jump up, and then didn't really do a whole lot. But that's another um, good example there. But something too that you'll notice with some of these stocks is that some of the pre-market stocks that are trending, they move up a lot in pre-market, and then they start falling once the market opens, or even before market opens, still in pre-market, whereas others have this incredible momentum and they just continue upwards, and it all depends on the stock. Like another stock we'll take here is this PAVS. This one's been trending a lot in the past month. They did a reverse split recently. It was like one of those proper penny stocks. And okay, unfortunately, some of these stocks I can't upload to the page for some reason on the weekend. Um, but let's see here. I'll say let's look at CTX here. Oh, this is a wonderful example here. So CTX, as we can see, this made this. See, that's Thursday morning here. Um, or I should say Thursday afternoon. Market closed, and then it had this kind of terrific move right after the market closed on Thursday afternoon, went up, and then um, on Friday morning kind of just stayed around the same price. So it shot from like around 280 and it went all the way up to about $4. But see, this is an example of a stock that then it just look at it dropped at open. It didn't do anything really. So that's what you see. Now, on the contrary, there's the stocks that trend in pre-market as losers. And there's different ways to approach this. Some people aren't big into the dead cat bounce plays. I myself, I've seen some awesome dead cat bounce plays, especially with the Chinese and Singapore stocks. You just have to time it right. So we'll take like a QST here. And this really isn't like the best example. I mean, there's better things that you could show, but like look at this thing. AQST, um, see, once again, it was this right here was Friday morning. So it dropped from 625 to $3, and then it rebounded all the way up to 4. So really, you had to catch this dead cat bounce in this range around almost to 3 and then ride it up to like 4, just over. That's where the move was. Uh, I mean, if you tried doing it at open, you weren't really catching anything, and that's where it's all about timing in the market and stuff. Another example um, is like look at after hour gainers. Once again, keep in mind this was a Friday afternoon, and anyone that knows the market well knows there's not a lot that happens on, on Friday afternoon. But SGN actually made a bit of a move here, so let's pull up SGN. Okay, look at this. SGN was actually a real trending stock back like maybe a couple years ago. So like I'll show you guys like this is something else I look at with stocks is let's go to this daily time frame here. When you look at stocks, anytime you see these big candles like back here, this one from like around 2 all the way up to 7 here this is more of what you should be seeing. If you're not seeing this with a stock, it's usually not a very volatile stock. And remember, when you're day trading, you're looking for volatility. So I will generally pull that up and see what the movement's been like over the past year, if there are a lot of those big or small bars. But like once again here, this stock went from around 50 cents and it went to around 70 cents and then it went back down and then up. So this wasn't like a great after hour moving stock. And also penny stock here, it's around 40 to 70 cents. And what you notice with these stocks in this price range that are under $1, they generally don't hold their moves up very well when they start making this move into these after hours. Whereas, let's just say CYCN here, and unfortunately, like I said, on Friday afternoons, usually there's not a lot of stocks that are moving into after hours. And see, this one isn't really what I would call a proper after hour move, but that's how I'd use TradingView, and then you can look at what's gain like top gainers, and that's the overall market. So like NBY was the top gainer on Friday. If we pull up in DBY, this was an incredible stock. I mean, this opened at around just under 10 and it ended up getting all the way up to 20. It's maintained its gains terrifically. And if you look at the daily, look at this. This stock just weeks ago was at around 40 cents. It's at $20. That is absolutely insane. And what's kind of interesting about a stock like Nova Bay Pharmaceutical is that we look at this Finviz here. I'll just pull this up. And okay, excellent website here for anyone who hasn't used it. This is something that everyone should take a look at. When you look at a stock when you're day trading, you go down and look at that share flow. 100 right here. You look at the share flow, it's like 124 million. That's not a low float stock. That's what's crazy about that. There's a lot of heavy institutional buying here. That's what it shows you. And you don't typically see 100% moves on stocks that are over 100 million share flow. That's a very uncommon thing to see, especially stocks that hold their gains. Because I'll give you guys another example here. I showed you guys in APA. Look at what this stock share float is. It's just under 2 million share float. It's crazy, honestly. But that's and look at the inside ownership. I mean, this is a really small flow. It was at 280 at its lowest. So, yeah, these stocks, um, they these stocks really uh move around price wise like lower float ones. And typically the lower floats are usually going to see those more sizable moves. But like once again on trade review, you can also like just look up a chart. So if we type in here, or you could click it, you don't need to type it in. Um, you can just here we go. So let's just say NBY. And so if we launch this chart, they have great charts here. This is we'll just look at the daily here. And yes, we can see great movement upwards, making higher highs and lower lows or higher lows. And then uh, so you can get 1 minute or even 1 second time frames. It's yeah, it's a great resource. And we could take something like say silver, which has been in the media a lot, and like same exact movements. You can look at great charts here. So this is an awesome website, Trader View. Anyone who hasn't used that one, I highly recommend it. And you can look at like small caps, large caps, trending like Nvidia, of course. You can look at the market cap, most expensive, penny stocks, and even like OTC, pink shoe, which are like the stocks that aren't traded on the New York Stock Exchange. They have everything. So take a look at this resource. It's an awesome resource. And hopefully you can apply this to your own trading. Thank you guys.